Hariom girls, in the elective course Information Security, the second module is being discussed. We are currently discussing the two broad categories of traditional ciphers. We have discussed in our previous sessions the substitution ciphers, the monoalphabetic and the polyalphabetic ciphers have been discussed. And we are currently discussing the transposition cipher. The previous video we talked about the keyless transposition cipher, because the transposition ciphers have three categories: keyless, keyed, and the two approaches can be combined together. Now in the keyless transposition cipher we have seen what is rail fence cipher. Then we have also discussed another transposition cipher that has the data or the message written row by row and then will be created as a ciphertext column by column. In this video we are going to talk about the keyed transposition cipher. Now if you take the keyless ciphers permute the characters by writing the plain text in one way and reading it in another way, which will create the ciphertext. So here the permutation is done on the whole plain text. All the characters of the plain text will be considered to create the ciphertext. Now another method what we are going to do here is to divide the plain text into groups of predetermined size, which we call as the blocks, and then use a particular key which will be shared between the sender and receiver to permute the characters in each block separately. This is known as keyed transposition cipher. So the point to be noted here is the plain text is to be divided into blocks and then a secret key must be shared between the sender and receiver. Let us see an example here. Let us assume Alice wants to send a message, enemy attacks tonight. This message she wants to send to Bob, and the sender and the receiver, Alice and Bob, have agreed to divide the text into groups of 5 characters like this, right? So the message is now divided into blocks of 5 characters each, and then they want to permute the characters in each group. Now what they are going to do, they have agreed on a particular key. And this key will be used for both encryption and decryption. So this we can call as a permutation key, and this permutation key shows how the character are to be permuted. For example, the third character in the plain text block becomes the first character in the ciphertext, and the first character in the plain text block becomes the second character in the ciphertext block, and the fourth character in the plain text block becomes the third character in the ciphertext block, and so on. So therefore the permutation will produce the ciphertext like this. So you can see here, this is the first character, second, third, fourth and fifth character of this particular block. Now here it says the first character must be the second character in the ciphertext. So the first character becomes the second character in the ciphertext. And the second character becomes the fifth character, right? What is the second character here? It is N. So it becomes the fifth character here. Then the third character becomes the first character. What is the third character? E is the third character, so it becomes the first character. Then the fourth character becomes the third character. What is the fourth character here? It is M. So M becomes the third character here. And the fifth character becomes the fourth character. So fifth character Y becomes the fourth character. So this is how the first block has been encrypted. Now the same procedure we are going to use for encrypting the second block. So this is the second block of 5 character. Now here again the first character becomes the second character, and the second character becomes the fifth character, third character becomes the first character, fourth character becomes the third character, and the fifth character becomes the fourth character. Like this, the second block has been encrypted. Again, if you observe the third block is also encrypted this way. Then the fourth block is also encrypted using this permutation key. So this is how the ciphertext is produced like this. So this ciphertext will be sent by Alice to Bob, and again what Bob will do? Bob will divide the ciphertext into 5 characters block and using the same key. So the reverse order of this key will be the decryption key. So using the permutation key given here in the reverse order will be producing the plain text on Bob's end. This is how we do the keyed transposition cipher. So the point to be noted here is the plain text is to be divided into blocks. Then after dividing it into blocks, the permutation key which is agreed between the sender and receiver will be used for encrypting and decrypting. This we call as the keyed transposition cipher. And the third transposition cipher is what we call as the combination of these two approaches, both keyless and keyed transposition cipher. The most of the latest transposition ciphers combine these two approaches to achieve better scrambling. Both encryption or decryption is done in three steps. So what we do here in the first step, the plain text will be written row by row. So this becomes a keyless transposition cipher. Then we reorder the columns with the key. So it becomes the keyed transposition cipher, reordering the columns. Then the third step will be new table is read column by column. So transmit it column by column, which becomes again a keyless transposition cipher. So here the first and third steps provide keyless transposition cipher, whereas the second step provides the blockwise keyed transposition cipher. So that is how we combine these two approaches to achieve better scrambling. So these types of ciphers are often referred to as keyed columnar transposition cipher, or sometimes just columnar transposition cipher. Please make a note of it. These types of ciphers are often referred as keyed columnar transposition cipher, keyed columnar transposition cipher, or sometimes just columnar transposition cipher. I repeat, the 3 steps for encryption and decryption in the combination of these two approaches are: the first step, the text is written into a table row by row. The plain text is written into a table row by row. And the second step is permutation is done by reordering the columns with the key, reordering the columns with the key. And the third step is A new table is read column by column. That is transmitting the plain text into ciphertext column by column. So here the first step and the third steps are keyless transposition cipher, whereas the second step is the keyed transposition cipher, because a permutation key will be used for reordering the columns. Let us see an example here. Suppose Alice wants to send the message, enemy attacks tonight. So this is the message she wants to send, and this message is now written row by row. Each row is having 5 characters. So she writes it row by row, enemy attacks tonight, and the last character is obviously a bogus character is being added. So this is the first step. And in the second step, what they do, they reorder the columns by using the permutation key. This is the permutation key agreed between Alice and Bob. The third character becomes the first character becomes second, fourth character becomes third, fifth character into fourth position, and the second character into the fifth position. So that is how each row has been reordered. Each row has been reordered. If you observe, the first character becomes the second character. So the first character becomes the second character, and the second character becomes the fifth character. So second character becomes the fifth character, and the third character becomes the first character, fourth character becomes the third character, and the fifth character becomes the fourth character. So this is the permutation key agreed between the two parties. Based on that, the second step does the reordering of the column. So once the reordering has been done, the third step is transmitting it into column by column. So we transmitted column by column. So E, T, T, H, then E, A, K, I, M, A, O, T, and so on. Right? So this becomes the ciphertext, which will be transmitted to Bob. And now what Bob will do? Bob will be doing the reverse order. So here they have first written row by row. So Bob will be writing it column by column. Then after writing it column by column, decrypt it using the permutation key in the reverse order again. Then once it has been reordered, here you are reading column by column. So the reverse order is reading row by row will produce the plain text. So this gives more security for the data transmission. So here I repeat, the first table is created by Alice writing the plain text row by row, and the columns are permuted using the same key, this key. And the ciphertext is created by reading the second table column by column, and Bob does the same 3 steps in the reverse order. He writes the ciphertext column by column, then permutes the column using the permutation key, and then reads the second table row by row. So this is how the combining approaches, the combination of keyless and keyed transposition cipher is used for the encipherment process, which is purely a symmetric key encipherment of the transposition cipher. Now you can see here what are the keys that we are using in the above approach. A single key was used in 2 directions for the column exchange, downward for the encryption and upward for the decryption. And it is customary to create 2 keys, one for encryption and one for decryption. That is also allowed. But here encryption decryption keys in the transposition cipher have been used the same keys, but two different keys can be used. Now if you see it separately, this is the encryption key and this is the decryption key. So we can say that two different keys are used for encryption and decryption. Now how to create the decryption key if the encryption key is given. So how the key inversion can be done in the transposition cipher is what depicted here. Now if you observe, so this is the simple algorithm which can be used for producing the decryption key if the encryption key is given. Suppose say for example, this is the encryption key agreed between the sender and receiver. Using this encryption key, how the decryption key can be generated. So that is what is depicted in this algorithm. Now this is the manual process shown here and this is the algorithm that we can use. Now the encryption key, these are the indices that we will be using for an array, right? These are the indices that we are going to use, and the indices are not starting from 0. You can observe here it starts from 1, right? So in the first position we have the encryption key as 2, and the second position 6, and the third position 3, and so on. Now using this particular algorithm, how the decryption key is generated, that is what is shown here. Kindly go through this algorithm, and the algorithm, it starts from index 1, and this is the encryption key which will be given as the input. So encryption key of 1 will be 2, encryption key of 2 will be 6, encryption key of 3 will be 3, encryption key of 4 will be 1, encryption key of 5, these are the indices, kindly note, these are the indices. So encryption key of 5 will give you value 7, and so on, right? So this array will be given as the input here, and we start with index 1, and when the index is less than or equal to column. Column is the number of columns that we are going to agree upon. So here the number of columns is equal to 5. In the same way, what is the number of columns you have decided for the table, that will be given here. Then the decryption key of this particular index will be this index, right? So decryption key of encryption key of 1, right? So here encryption key of 1 is equal to 2. Encryption key of 1 ന്റെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള value is equal to 2. So decryption key of 2 becomes 1, and the index will be incremented, and it goes back to the while loop. So again decryption key of second index lila value. What is the second index value? It is 6. So decryption key of 6 will be equal to 2. Then index will be incremented. Again it goes encryption key of 3. Encryption key of 3 is again 3 itself. So the 3 value will be stored here. Now here encryption key of 4. Encryption key of 4 becomes 1. Sorry, encryption key of 4 is 1. So decryption key of 1 becomes 4. So this is how we will be generating the decryption key. So it is simply we are going to swap the key values to produce the decryption key. We add the indices to the key table, and then we are adding the indices, and then we are going to swap the contents and the indices. Then we are going to finally sort the pairs according to the index. So that is what we are doing here. I repeat, first add the indices to the key table, then swap the contents, and finally sort the pairs according to the index. So this is how we are going to do it manually. and the same process is written as an algorithm. Okay, so we are creating a pair here, right? So what is the pair? The encryption key, this is the encryption key and the indices. So this becomes one pair now after adding the indices. Now these two are swapped together, so this row becomes here and this becomes here. Okay, then we are going to sort it according to the index. Sort it according to the index. So these are the indices. So the first one is 4, second one is 1, third is 3 itself, then 4 is having 5, 5 is having 7, 6 is having 2 and 7 is having 6. So that is how we get the decryption key, right? So please note here, this is the manual process, and for this manual process we are writing a simple algorithm here. So to create a decryption key, if the encryption key is given, what we are going to do, we create a pair of the encryption key and the indices. So these are the indices of the encryption key. Now after adding the indices and the encryption key as a pair, this pair values are swapped here, right? So the indices become the key and the key becomes the indices now. Now using these indices we are going to sort it. So these indices are sorted here. So these indices are sorted here. Their corresponding values are written here. So this becomes the decryption key. This is the manual process, and for this manual process you can write an algorithm like this which will be producing the decryption key in this order, right? So this is how the keys can be created. And we can also use another method for creating the encryption and decryption process for the transposition cipher is using the matrices here. You can see the matrices can be used to show the encryption and decryption process for a transposition cipher. How we are going to represent the keys as a matrix in the transposition cipher is shown here. So your key is 31452. So you create a matrix. Observe here, it is a 5 by 5 matrix, and in the 5 by 5 matrix, in whichever index you have this value, that will be 1. The rest of the values are going to be zeros. So we have 3 here. So first, second, fourth and fifth are zeros. 3 is having value 1. Okay, then this is 1, so the first position is having 1, the rest of the values are zeros. And here it is 4, so all these are zeros and this is going to be 1. And like this we can generate an encryption key matrix, and the plain text will be multiplied with the encryption key matrix which will be producing the cipher text. So this is another simplest method of creating the cipher text using the transposition cipher, where the key is represented as a matrix. So this is how we can do the keyed and keyless transposition cipher. So we have seen what is keyless transposition cipher. We have seen what is keyed transposition cipher. Then how the two approaches can be combined together to achieve better scrambling is also seen here with an example. Then we talked about the key values, and here in the key values the encryption key and the decryption key can be separately represented. And we have also discussed, if the encryption key is given, how the decryption key can be created. Then we discussed how the encryption key can be represented as a matrix so as to produce the ciphertext in a simplest manner. Now we are going to talk about the cryptanalysis of transposition cipher. And the cryptanalysis transposition cipher, these are vulnerable to several kinds of ciphertext only attacks, and it is exposed to the statistical attack because the frequency of the letters are preserved, and if the length of the ciphertext is too long, then it is easily exposed to the statistical attack. And you can observe here in the transposition cipher, we are not substituting the symbols. Instead, we are going to simply reorder the position. So obviously, the frequency of letters will be preserved in the ciphertext. And if the ciphertext is long enough, then it can be easily attacked using the statistical attack. And another thing is the brute force attack, and the number of columns can be guessed. If the length is 20, then the number of columns can be combination of these factors, right? So if the number of columns can be guessed by the attacker, then your transposition cipher is exposed to brute force attack. An example given here is, if the length is 20, then the number of columns can be combination of 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20, right? So these are the factors. This is how the 20 length plain text might have been divided into blocks, right? So by guessing these columns, he or she can easily break the code. Then the pattern attacks. If the keyed transposition cipher is used, it creates some repeated patterns which can be used to break the code. The keyed transposition cipher, it may create some patterns, and if the patterns are created, then obviously it can be attacked using the pattern attack. So this is the cryptanalysis part that you have to remember for the transposition cipher. So the point here is, it is vulnerable to statistical attack, brute force attack, and the pattern attacks. Now, another way of securing your data using the transposition cipher is the double transposition cipher. Double transposition cipher adds more security to the data, right? So in all the earlier cases, we have seen only one transposition cipher. Now we are going to see double transposition cipher, which will be adding more security to the data. And here this method repeats twice the algorithm used for encryption and decryption. I'll show you an example here. So this is how we can add more security to our transposition cipher. So what we are going to do, the plain text will be first encrypted like this, and again the encrypted ciphertext will be again encrypted using the same procedure to produce this ciphertext. So it becomes very difficult for the attacker to guess the key for both the encryption. Now this ciphertext will be sent to Bob, and here Bob will be decrypting it, and a middle text will be generated. Again decrypting it will produce the plain text for Bob. This is what we call as double transposition cipher. If you observe here, this cipher, right? So this cipher, what we are doing here in the combination of two approaches, has been repeated 2 times here to produce the ciphertext. So this is the advantage of having the double transposition cipher to secure your data in a more enhanced manner. I repeat, the double transposition cipher, we are going to repeat the same encryption or decryption algorithm 2 times to secure the data. This is an example for it. We encrypt the plain text, produce a middle text. Again the middle text will be encrypted to produce the ciphertext. and the reverse will be producing the plain text for Bob. So these are the contents of the transposition cipher that is given in our syllabus. So the points to be noted here, the transposition cipher has 3 categories: keyed, keyless, and the combination of these two approaches. And apart from that, to add more security, we can have the double transposition cipher also. So we will be discussing the stream cipher and the block cipher. The stream cipher and block cipher in our next video. Thank you.